There is so much nonsense happening on the internet nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, Even as creators, it can be quite frustrating when
Hmm.
your Instagram reach or your YouTube reach or your content reach is not based on the quality of content you make,
Yeah.
but the virality of content. It's very important for creators to create good content and also for consumers to consume good content. There's always
Right.
going to be people who are going to love the massy things, but I feel
Yeah.
your mental state and to keep everything in place, you need to consume good content. I was disassociated and for the next 15 days, they look at creators and they think they're supposed to be a certain way. Unless you are confident about what you're doing, people are not going to be confident about you.
Hi guys, welcome to Z Media India.com. My name is Simran Keswani, and today with us we have an entrepreneur and OG content creator and a lifestyle blogger in the dance of travel, beauty, fashion, and art. So please welcome the incredibly talented Larissa Desa. Larissa, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
So, Larissa, firstly, I want to tell you that I've been following your journey right from the beginning.
Okay.
Right from the start when you were moving out of your parents' house, then you were shifting houses in Bombay, then you finally went to Goa, and it's amazing to have this conversation with you today.
That was a long time ago. So I think
Yes.
that in 2016.
Yeah.
My parents.
So yes, on that note only, it would be great if you can just take us from the top and tell us about your life journey. What were you doing before you were a content creator? How did you land in this profession and all of that?
Okay, I think it's a long, long story and
Hmm.
quite adventurous also. Um, I started off in 2012. I started my YouTube journey since then, and it wasn't as big as it is right now. People had no
Hmm.
idea what YouTube was, people had no idea what I was doing. Um, the only thing I remember is that I started posting things online was because I loved the camera and
Hmm.
it was a very easy way to have that interaction with the camera and with the audience. I tried a lot of things before that. I tried beauty pageants, realized it was not my scene. Tried to get into acting, not my scene. Maybe I
Hmm.
wasn't that good back then because I've done a few gigs right now with acting,
Yes.
hosting a TV show. I remember writing to Travel XP when I was 19, writing to them that
Hmm.
I wanted to be a travel host and they did not respond to me. But 10 years later, I did work with them and I was a TV host. So I feel
Wow.
it's been a very exciting journey. However,
Hmm.
content creation was never my plan. Like
Okay.
today, the kids, the generation, this right now, they have a proper roadmap onto how, like, on how to be a content creator. It's
Hmm.
just given out there, like you have a proper roadmap. This is how you create content. There are so many references online. There are so many videos. So I feel it gets so much
Right.
easier to become a content creator. However, it can be difficult to sustain because right
Hmm.
now, there's a lot of competition. But back in our times, it's
Yeah.
years ago, back in our time,
Yes.
we were the only few who started doing it, and
Right.
we believed in it somehow. I feel to be visionaries back then and to realize that someday this is going to pay off is quite a big deal because back then
Right.
nobody believed in us and everybody thought we're nuts and we've lost our minds and posting online and just ridiculing ourselves. So I feel
Hmm.
this is now I'm 31. I started this when I
Hmm.
was 19, and it's since then I started with YouTube. Instagram started picking off. I worked as a graphic designer at a proper job. I had a proper job for 3 years,
Hmm.
and once YouTube started picking up, I knew I had to take up YouTube more seriously. But the same week, I was fired instead of quitting my
Hmm.
job, I was fired, and
Wow.
yeah, I know, and that was, I think.
Blessing in disguise.
Yeah, a blessing in disguise, a sign from God that you're not supposed to be taking orders from anyone. You're supposed to be your own boss.
Yeah.
And that's when my life as a content creator began. Um, it's been a ride. I started with DIY,
Yes.
lifestyle, beauty. I've tried everything under the sun. I've been a tattoo artist at one point. I
Wow.
yeah, I have customized phone covers, shoes. I've painted wall murals. I've tried my hands at different kinds of jobs, and I feel I've only known that all this while I've only known that whatever you do it with a lot of passion. And
Hmm.
once your passion uh, for that job you're doing, it loses its spark. That's when you move
Hmm.
on and you start doing newer things.
Yeah.
Uh, Today, people might tell you that you stick to your niche, you do what you do, and that's how you just build onto one thing. But I do not believe in that. I feel change is the only constant, and that we need to keep changing, we need to keep evolving, and that is what you also see in my content, and
Yeah.
that's how I've changed throughout the years.
Okay. So like you mentioned that you used to do a lot of DIY videos, a lot of home decor, fashion, beauty, and now your content is more towards travel. So how
Right.
did this transition happen? Is it only because you evolved, like you said, or was it in between that you kind of got intrigued towards traveling?
Traveling has always been a part of my family, but I wouldn't call it like travel as you see right now. I mean, we traveled to Mangalore every
Hmm.
summer vacations, and then we went to Goa during Diwali vacations. That was like a routine. We never did like extreme travels, like, everywhere all over the world. We weren't that privileged to be traveling abroad back then. Uh,
Hmm.
my first trip abroad was when I was 19 or something, 19 or 20. So it it started, however, when I was a kid, and I would take my trips to my ancestral house in Mangalore with my
Hmm.
family. Stayed there for 10 days or sometimes 5 to 10 days, and we had a great time. That's how, and that's why I love the village life so much. Like
Yeah.
um, I'm so savvy with walking bare feet, jumping into the river, doing all things, all sorts of wild things, and I feel that is what also attracted me to living in Goa for 3 years that I did. You know,
Right.
I've, I mean, I've loved the whole concept of getting out of your home and traveling. And travel to me, uh, the much more exciting bit about reaching our ancestral house was actually the journey. The journey.
Hmm.
We took the train from Vasai to Mangalore, and that train journey was so beautiful. I would wait for the tomato soup. I would wait for the chai, for the garma,
Wow.
and to sleep in those sleeper booths. I mean, those, like, it's like there's so much of nostalgia. Like when I even see those trains right now, I think the last trip I did by train was last year
Hmm.
when I went to Surat. I had
Hmm.
to take the train again because that was the easiest way to go to Surat from Bombay. And it just reminded me of all those times. So that is when travel actually uh, was just ingrained in me. I had no
Hmm.
idea though. But when I started, like when I grew up, and when my dad is my dad is very much into travel. Like he always loved traveling, and he always wanted me to be a travel host. So he would
Hmm.
watch Discovery, he would watch Nat Geo, he would watch Travel XP all the time, and he's very good with geography. And I'm
Yeah.
the complete opposite. I am horrible at geography even today. And I know it's to even believe that because I'm a travel creator, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really bad at it, and my dad is brilliant at it. He knows literally
Hmm.
like the capital of each country. He knows the per capita income of each country. It's like it's insane how much he knows. And he's always pushed me towards like travel, saying that you should become like this. He's never pushed me towards acting or anything of those sorts, but he's always wanted me to be a travel host. And I think that just um, was stuck with me. So I kind of somehow subconsciously manifested it in my life. And when I started traveling, I enjoyed it more. It was not the usual monotony in your daily life. I hate monotony, and I cannot like stay in one place for more than 5 days. So
Yeah.
traveling, I realized that wow, like this is a different way of life. It's so diverse. Every day is different. There are different challenges that you pick on. And that's when I realized this is something I love, and this is something I want to keep doing for the rest of my life. I mean, even if I don't think I can ever stop. Like, this is one thing that is a core part of me, and it's always going to be there.
Okay, on that note, I also want to know, like, you said you are an OG content creator and you've been doing this from a while. So, can you tell us that what is the kind of evolution that you've seen in content creation as an industry? And there are also a lot of people now who are, leaving their legit corporate job and getting into content creation full time. So, I'm sure you would know the good, bad, and ugly of content creation. So, can you tell us from your experience?
Oh, I have a lot to say on this.
Yeah.
Don't get me started, because I remember content used to be a part of good entertainment. It used to be
Hmm.
a part. It used to be a part of um, good stuff. There was a lot of like beautiful videos out there. Today, because anybody can start creating content, it's been a chaos on the internet. Um,
Hmm.
I feel it's very important for creators to create good content, and also for consumers to consume good content. There's
Hmm.
always going to be people who are going to love the massy things, but I feel
Yeah.
the mental state, and to keep everything in place, you need to consume good content.
Hmm.
I understand that comedy is fun and all of that, but I feel there is so much nonsense happening on the internet nowadays. Um,
Yeah.
Even as creators, it can be quite frustrating when
Hmm.
your Instagram reach or your YouTube reach or your content reach is not based on the quality of content you make,
Yeah.
but the virality of content. I mean, going to be there's always going to be viral videos. I mean, there's always going to be videos that go viral for multiple reasons,
Yeah.
but going viral for something that's a clickbaity topic, then it's ridiculous. I mean, how does that make sense? How does that make
Hmm.
you a good content creator? I feel content creation should always add value
Hmm.
to what you want to say. It should have
Right.
quality, because you cannot give people an eyesore. You need to give them
Hmm.
something visually appealing and visually pleasing. It's very important for humans to advance in that on that front. And I feel uh, even in terms of creating content ridiculously at a fast pace is something I don't understand. We keep saying that people need to slow down and people need to slow down, but all I see is people running in some direction. I can't
Hmm.
say it's one direction that they're running in, it's in some direction. People want to
Yeah.
run in, like in a direction where everybody's running in. I mean,
Running. Yeah.
it's the rat race, and I feel it's not the way to build substantial stuff. If you need to even create, like, you need to create something that's sustainable, you need to go at a certain pace. And I
Hmm.
say this because I don't want to brag, but I say this because I've seen the evolution of content in the past 10, 13, 15 years, and
Yeah.
it's fast. It's like trends, and it will never slow down, and it's only up to us to understand and to strike a balance and to know when to stop, when to take a break, when to slow down, and how fast you want to go forward. Because if you're going to reach like this, it's going to be very difficult to keep reaching like this. But if you're going at a
Hmm.
pace like this, it's easier that way, and it's also good for your health, for your own
Hmm.
life, for your family life, to maintain a balance in your head. Very important. So that's
Yeah.
all I have to say about. I mean, I can keep talking about content, but
Yeah.
I think the major points that I want to cover is Create quality, you'll always find the right audience for it. Create consistently, and just make
Being
sure
in the
that
rat
you add
race.
value.
But isn't that a little contradictory? Like, not being in a rat race and also being consistent. How
Being
does one navigate that?
being consistent could does definitely doesn't equal to being a part of the rat race. Being
Hmm.
consistent means if you're posting twice every week, then you post twice. If you're posting once every month, then you post once every month. It doesn't have to mean that you post every day and that means consistency. Consistency means you need to be consistent throughout the years. That's it. And everyone could have a different definition of being consistent. And that's what you need to do it for yourself. And I think that is another point, like people make content nowadays saying that, oh, people will like this, oh, people will love this because it's going to go viral for sure. Like I have
Hmm.
a formula on how to become viral. I know it, and I've tried it. I always I can strategize and I can make a video into a viral video. But is that who I actually am? I don't think so. Like I don't want to be a person always. Sometimes it's fine. Sometimes you want to push. That's okay. But
Hmm.
I feel that you need to create your own identity with your content and not go after trends, because that's important in the long run. So
Right.
instead of just posting every day consistently just to get those numbers, you might as well invest some time in understanding what your content is and posting better quality stuff.
Okay. I also want to know this, that do you think now that because this industry has become very saturated, that it's very difficult for someone to make space for themselves at this moment, versus somebody who started probably when you started?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I totally agree to that. It is difficult, but I feel, see, there's always going to be pros and cons about like starting back then and starting right now.
Yeah.
I feel if you started back then, you have a good hold of your content, and if you're still surviving right now, then
Hmm.
that means you survived the industry and you know what to do. That's
Right.
experience in any field. It could be
Right. Right.
even a proper corporate job. It's years of experience that counts. But starting today also has its pros. I mean, you have tons of video references. You can literally strategize on what you can do, the kind of stuff you can do, what cannot be done. You can see so many references of videos that work and don't work, and accordingly you can make a plan. I mean, if you're a person
Hmm.
who can plan something well, then, and if you start this time, then nothing like it. I mean, you're going to prosper, and how.
So, you have also made your mark as an actor. So I want to know that about how did that happen? You always wanted to become an actor? Was it always a dream somewhere?
I have not made my mark as an actor. I have gigs here and there, and it's simply because I enjoy acting and
Hmm.
it's fun. I feel I can sometimes just be behind the camera and just act, and that's it. And it's maybe at the point I did want to become an actor, but I never pursued it properly.
Right.
Pursue it even now. If opportunities come, then that they're more than welcome. I do give a lot of auditions because I'm a believer of never let your opportunities slide away. So if there's any
Hmm.
that comes in and I feel like I'm fit for it, I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's do this. I do my best to give that audition and then I completely forget about it. So I have
Hmm.
no expectations from the acting industry at all. I just do my bit and that's it. Um, However, like it's for me, when I do an acting gig and I go on set, it's really fun. Like for me as a creator, I'm doing literally everything. I'm doing
Yeah.
logistics, I'm planning, especially when you're doing a travel trip, and you're doing uh, the stay, you're planning everything, you're traveling, you're supposed to manage your footage, you're supposed to direct, you're supposed to also sit down and edit at certain points, transferring of footage, everything is done by me. And
Yeah.
um, when I'm on set as an actor, which is like
Hmm.
been a few times, it's fun. It's like I'm on vacation, and it's like everything is done by someone else. Somebody's doing my hair, somebody's doing my makeup, and
Yes.
I just have to be on set and and just act.
Do my
I'm not
part. Yes.
at acting, but it's fun. So I've always acting as a very fun job. If it's any gig that comes in and it's like an acting thing, I'm like, yay, like I'm getting paid and I don't have to do any work. I mean, that's my way to look at it.
Yeah.
100%, it's so difficult to be an actor, and I have so many friends who are actors and they're doing
Hmm.
an incredible job at what they do, and it's tough, and that's the reason maybe I don't want to pursue it, being a different character always. I do that on my trips, if
Yeah.
I'm in Kolkata, I become a Kolkata person. If
Oh,
I'm
really?
Kerala, then I become a Keralite. If I'm in Mangalore, I'm a Mangalorean. If I'm in Australia, I'm an Australian. So I work around that. But yeah,
Right, right. Now coming back to content creation, so I was speaking to one of an influencer a few days back, and she said this one thing that was very intriguing. She said that there's a difference in having followers, and there's a difference in having a community. Somebody who's sitting at 1 million might not have a stronger community as somebody who's sitting at 20K. And speaking about you, you have been in this industry from a very long time, and you have also ensured to retain that audience. So, how have you managed that? And can you just give some tips for budding content creators to, make their community strong?
I really like this quote that I follow since a very, very long time. It goes something like, "You are you, and that is your superpower." I feel I
Hmm.
really resonate with that. The mistake that people tend to do nowadays, especially because they look at creators and they think they're supposed to be a certain way. And the
Hmm.
thing about content creation is that you can be whoever you want. You can be
Yeah.
yourself, and nobody's going to say that it's wrong. You can you can literally be who you are, and there is no rule as for how you're supposed to be a content creator. There's no rule on how to be a beauty content creator. Like there is no
Hmm.
rule that okay, you're supposed to sit in front of uh, a ring light in your room and then you're supposed to do your makeup and only then people are going to take you seriously. You can sit in the
Hmm.
corridor and do your makeup in the open, and I don't
Right.
think anybody has the right to say anything to you. That's your style. So I
Yeah.
feel like people tend to copy the others because they think, okay, maybe this is the right way. And I don't blame them.
Hmm.
I feel
Right.
people are so scared to change the narrative. And I feel be gutsy and change the narrative. I feel it comes from being confident in what you're doing, and unless you are confident about what you're doing, people are not going to be confident about you. So the moment
Hmm.
you have that confidence within yourself, people start seeing it, and people are very
Hmm.
smart. People might just be behind the computer, behind their phones, typing in comments, but they're actually intelligent people, and they see
Hmm.
and they can sense who is a real person and who is not. And I think
Yeah.
that's when they want to connect with you, when they see that there is some genuinity behind you, and they
Hmm.
want to invest in believing in this person. Otherwise
Right.
they wouldn't want to. So I feel when someone wants to invest in believing in you, that's when you have built a community. That's when you've built trust, and that is the most important thing in content creation. The most important thing when you're building a community, you need to be yourself. You need to make sure that you gain the trust of your audience by speaking the right things, adding value, and not being a sellout. And
Right.
I think that's about it.
Again, I'm asking this question from the perspective of budding content creator, especially you want to get into travel content creation. I'm sure initially, you won't get brand collaborations or tie up with maybe some experiential agencies. So, usually people, have a fear of starting out because they don't have enough money to invest. So, can you just give us some tips to all these budding content creators who want to start out as a travel influencer?
Oh, so you know, another thing I totally believe in is that make use of all your resources. And when
Hmm.
I say that because I never came from a wealthy family. I came from a
Hmm.
I came from a very middle class family, and Not once have I asked my parents to fund me or give me some money to start a business or to take a trip somewhere. I've always known since I was a kid that we don't have money at home, so we need to save and stuff like that. So I've made sure that I would never be a burden in terms of like asking for money. And I always made sure that I made my own money at a younger age. So when I was
Hmm.
17 or 18, I started working. I started having a side hustle even when I was in college. I started
Yeah.
making, and that's how I started getting a little money here and there. Then I got a
Hmm.
job, and finally, when I moved out of my parents' place, um, I had to pay rent there, and that's when I realized like now I have some money, and that's when I started saving. I was financially a little stable, and that's when I quit my job and I took on to content creation. I know people who just leave their job and get into content creation, and I'm like, whoa, like you have some guts, because I never did that. I was very careful about like being financially like a little stable, have some money on the side, and know
Hmm.
that there's a flow, like there is an income flow happening,
Right.
and be a
Right.
little sure about it, and only then take the decision of like leaving a full-time job. I
Hmm.
feel like if you're doing a full-time job and you want to start traveling at the same time, you can. I know a lot of creators who have done that in the past and then left their jobs. So I feel
Hmm.
like you can collect your leaves and like you can start traveling like once a year, then maybe twice a year by using your long weekends and stuff like that. And I mean, you got to prioritize what you love to do. And if you love traveling, you will prioritize it somehow and you will make sure it happens. The same goes with like equipment and gear. I feel people think that you're supposed to invest in really expensive cameras to get good content. Absolutely
Right.
not. I started shooting on my phone. I did not have a videographer. The start of my, like if you look at my YouTube videos, the oldest YouTube video of mine, I'm literally sitting in front of maybe a phone, and there's a light. There are two different sources of light because one is a lamp and the other is the light from my mirror, and one is white light and one is warm light, and it's dark. My audio is horrible. So I mean, I still started. I thought like, okay, let's go for it. And
Yeah.
so many ways of doing jugaad nowadays to get like good stuff out of content, to create the best setups with. There's AI. You can do crazy things with AI, and
Right.
even like phone cameras are so good nowadays. So I think anybody can become a content creator. Your content needs to be good though. You need to
Right.
have some you need to have some strength to it, and that's when
Hmm.
like it can be a good one.
Okay. And how can one start approaching agencies for collaboration or brands for collaboration? Is there any way, like let's say a brand is not collaborating with you or people are not reaching out to you, should you do that? Should you reach out to some agencies? And what is the way about it?
Of course, I feel that's the way how life works. You cannot
Hmm.
wait for opportunities to come your way. Sometimes you've got to make them.
Hmm.
However, you need to have a good, strong portfolio before you reach out to brands. Now, if you're a person who has followers don't even matter. But if you have a page and you've just posted one picture, or even if you've just posted 50 photos of just yourself, and
Yeah.
you reaching out to a travel company saying that I want to collaborate with you, why would they? I mean, they need to see some of your work to believe in you, to trust in you. So
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of people complain about like, hey, you know what? I've reached out to so many people, but they don't get back. I mean, why would they get back until they see that they see some potential in you to get their brand at a certain level. I mean, it should make sense for them as well to work with you, right? So I feel
Hmm.
build a good strong portfolio, and to build a good portfolio, you need to do a few. You need to work with a lot of people, sometimes for free, sometimes um, you have to put in your time and energy, and it is how it is. I still do a lot of stuff without getting paid. I still do it. and I still work with some clients without getting paid, just because I want to associate with them, just because I want to work with them, just because I want them on my I want them in my clientele, just because I want to tell people that I've worked with this brand. I still do it. So I don't see why people have an issue with that. I think it's very important to know that uh, your definitely your time is valuable and you should get paid for what you deserve. But do you actually deserve a certain brand or a certain thing until and unless you've created that world around you that they should believe in? I mean, that's what I say. I mean, some
Right.
things you should, I feel people should do it just because it's a good association for them with the brand more
Right.
than.
So my last question to you is about social media trolling. And I think it's a part and parcel of being a content creator. If there's one section of society that really loves you, there can also be another section that sometimes can be really mean. So
Yeah.
I want to know this from you, that have you ever dealt with social media trolling? And if yes, then how do you get out of it?
Sometimes, yes, here and there, but never been a part of anything super major. I
Right.
don't think I'm controversial like that, and I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I'm just in my lane doing my thing, and I mean, if ever there is any trolling or anything happening, I don't even like look at it as that. I feel like okay, people have their own issue. I really like. I'm the least concerned person when it comes to trolling. Like if someone's saying something to me, I'm like, okay, maybe this person had a bad. I really look at things in a very different way. So initially, I used to get really pissed when people said things to me, but
Right.
after a while, I realized that it's not about you. It's not something you should take personally. It's
Right.
people have bad days.
Projection.
Yeah, it's projection of their own insecurities, their own feelings. They don't know
Right.
what you're actually doing. They don't know what you're actually going through. So they will never know the real story of who Larissa is. So if they say something,
Mm.
like the other day, I was live and I told people that hey, I posted a new YouTube video and I would love if you go and watch it. I'm sure people have not gotten the notification because that was happening, with my YouTube. So someone commented saying, "Oh, but you've got to be consistent. If you're not consistent, then please don't come and beg for views." And I'm like, "Bro, I've been consistent for 13 years. What are
Yeah.
you out of me?" And I mean, I laughed it out at that moment, but I thought about it. This girl has no idea what I'm going through personally. Like, I have a lot
Mm.
of issues at the back end. There are so many things happening with my brand while I'm building the brand, while I'm building this current brand, and I'm working on so many things at the back that people don't know of that I can't mention right now because none of my work is about instant gratification. I always work at a slow pace and then people see it and then they enjoy it and then they're like, oh, that's why you were so quiet for so long. But like she wouldn't know like what's happening. There are some personal issues that are happening. There was like last year was terrible for me because like mom was not well and like I had to be there for her. Even last month was terrible, like my mother met with an accident, but nobody knows about this. And I feel
Mm.
like I'm not going to be talking about personal things anymore on my page because I don't want to. I've taken that decision. And the moment you don't, people think you're living a very easy life, but you're
Yeah.
not. Everybody's having their share of troubles.
Right.
It's okay that people don't understand you. And it's just that I think just don't do anything that's controversial and you'll be fine. Trolling is it's fine. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing on this planet today. Even Reddit pages and people having gossip columns. It's like I mean I feel it. Just imagine if a person invests so much of time to just sit down and talk about someone and say bad things about them. Like what good are they doing in life? So I mean,
Right.
would you want to listen to this person or would you want to know this person's opinion about you anyway? Because this person has
Mm.
nothing else to do. So I feel trollers can troll. I mean, you know where you are, so that's what.
Right. Okay, but before I move to the last segment, which is a rapid fire, first, can you tell me about your brand? Like you mentioned it, so tell us about your brand a little bit. What is the vision behind it and everything?
Uh, Beyond Larissa is a jewelry brand. It's a solid gold jewelry brand. I launched it in 2022, but I've been working on it since 2019, 2020. And since it's gold, it needs a lot of research, it needs a lot of like learnings, and I've been doing that for the past 2 3 years. It's been great. I've learned so many things, and I cannot wait to execute it again. We're starting with a new phase with a newer collection, the new line, and we'll be launching soon in the coming months. It is going to happen very soon. I'm working a lot on that, and it's just very exciting. And I would like you also to check it out when it's out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Amazing. Looking forward to it. Okay, now we move on to the last rapid fire round. So, are you ready?
Oh shit, yes.
Okay, one thing about influencers which is actually true.
They take a picture of everything.
Okay,
I call
cool.
it
If you have, sorry,
I call it documentation. Like, I mean, it's called
right. Okay. If you wouldn't have been a TV host or a content creator or an actor, what would you be?
I think I would be a fashion designer or a designer of some sorts. I am a jewelry designer now.
Yeah, you are.
I think I would be like I also like passed out as a graphic designer. So I would have been that, or maybe somewhere maybe I would have been a doctor because that was my first choice.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So one travel experience that completely changed your life.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was in Ladakh. I had a terrible accident on the skateboard. I literally saw death. I was disassociated and um, for the next 15 days. So
Hmm.
it was like, it was a very terrible, terrible accident. My face was broken, my back was broken, and it was some while I was doing something I love so much. So there was a lot of PTSD, and my brain cells had gone for a toss. So after that, once I started recovering, the year after that was a year full of growth. So I feel that incident actually pushed me so much ahead of myself in my life that
Right.
it helped me see life in a very different perspective. And that was one of the most intense travel experiences I've had in my life. Never want to have it again.
Hmm. Okay. Three hidden gems in India that you would totally recommend.
Three hidden gems in India.
Hmm.
I don't think anything is hidden anymore in India, but definitely the Northeast. I mean, there are beautiful landscapes there. The hikes there are great. I mean, so many untouched locations that people don't know of, mostly because it's hard to get there.
Hmm.
So, um, I think one of the places that I've been to in uh, Northeast should be Zuku Valley in Nagaland. Amazing
Hmm.
place. It's beautiful. It looked like something out of this world. I haven't seen something like that even abroad. So, it's insane.
Yeah.
That is one thing. Zuku Valley was one thing. Another thing could be other two things. I don't think anything else is a hidden gem. But
Okay.
if you look at it from my perspective,
Hmm.
Banaras, very
Hmm.
different to travel. People go there with a different angle. They go there with the angle of like praying and worshiping. And
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're a traveler and you want to feel different vibes, you go to
Hmm.
Banaras. And yeah, I think I can only think of two right now. If you put me in a
I'm definitely going to Banaras then.
you must.
Yeah. Okay. One particular project or a experience that you're really proud of.
The Nat Geo project, like my recent one, I'm really proud of
Yes.
that. It's not something that's happened overnight. It's happened because of years of what you've done. So I
Yes.
really value it, and I really like value it a lot.
Amazing. That was amazing speaking to you, Larissa. Thank you so much for being with us today. Wish you all the most success.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you.